I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
This war on jokes must end. Will Smith didn't get kicked out of the Oscars for going Ike Turner on Chris, but Kevin Hart got kicked out of hosting it for a joke. Who are these people who say cancel culture isn't a real thing? Just among comedians who've gotten fired and lost gigs for exercising their freedom of expression, the toll is high.
Let's be honest for a moment. That Oscar slap was more than just a wild celebrity moment that became a meme. It was a flashing neon sign, screaming Hollywood has completely lost the plot. And this isn't just because someone walked up to a comedian on stage and punched him in the face because of a joke about living in a middle school cafeteria with a red carpet. The subsequent reaction made the situation 10 times worse. Let's all pretend this is normal energy. The standing ovation, the spineless clapping like trained seals vibe that told everyone watching, yeah, we'll excuse anything as long as it's the right person doing it. If you want an entire breakdown, please like and subscribe right away. It really helps the channel a lot. And stay with us because the whole ordeal is larger than a single slap. Because here's the part people don't want to say out loud. That particular moment cast a pall over everyone else's night. You had individuals who persevered through auditions, rejections, low-budget gigs, humiliating meetings, and constant maybe next-time energy for years or decades to eventually reach the Oscars. In that world, that is the top of a mountain. And then, boom, a single egotistical outburst takes over the entire broadcast. Suddenly, the winners, the films, the performances, and the craft no longer matter. It's about a mature man losing control on live television while millions of people are watching, and everyone else awkwardly pretends they didn't just witness something completely unacceptable.
Has to appall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work they did. And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do. And you know, it was just a selfish moment that cast a pall over the whole thing.
Stop before anyone attempts to carry out the entire well-being was high thing. We can acknowledge someone's feelings without allowing them to use them as a justification to act wild. You don't have to be hurt, offended, embarrassed, triggered, or any other word trending this week to walk onto a stage and touch someone because you didn't like a joke. In any sane society, that is not a controversial statement. That is a fundamental rule that we teach toddlers. Use your language. This is why Jim Carr's response is so powerful. He wasn't doing the courteous celebrity thought and prayer dance. He said what a lot of normal people thought. That standing ovation made the industry as a whole appear weak, as if Hollywood no longer has a spine. Sincerely, he is correct, because security would have tackled him so quickly that he would have done backflips into handcuffs if that had been a random audience member who was not famous. However, everyone froze because it was a beloved star. As a result, the cool club illusion is being shattered in real time.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said, no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
The club is not trendy. It simply protects itself. When you contrast this with the hysteria that Hollywood experiences, the hypocrisy only gets worse. Strangely tolerated stage physical violence. However, a joke from years ago ended my career. With his whole "the war on jokes must end" thing, that's where Bill Maher comes in. Also, keep in mind that you don't have to agree with everything Maher's ever said for you to comprehend the point. The system of punishment is reversed. In this day and age, words are viewed as acts of violence, while actual acts of violence are viewed as unfortunate misunderstandings.
Final rule tonight. It's time for another edition of one of our favorite departments here on Real Time, explaining jokes to idiots. where as a public service, I break down jokes for the humor impaired. Not that I have anyone particular in mind. Now, I know we're all sick of talking about the slap, but I'm sorry, one more thing needs to be said. Comedians have been under attack for quite some time, and I need to stick up for my tribe. This war on jokes must end.
Let's take Kevin Hart as an example for a moment, because it best exemplifies the clown world we live in. Due to jokes in the past, the man loses his hosting job, not because he did something wrong, not because he physically harmed someone, not because he assaulted, cheated, or stolen from anyone. Words. Jokes from the past. Meanwhile, there was a moment during the Oscars when a comedian was smacked live on television. Additionally, the show basically just continues. In any case, the best cinematography. Makes sense of that.
Will Smith didn't get kicked out of the Oscars for going Ike Turner on Chris, but Kevin Hart got kicked out of hosting it for a joke. Who are these people who say cancel culture isn't a real thing? Just among comedians who've gotten fired and lost gigs for exercising their